Hello all, thank you for your patience, and I'm Marius. I'm a fifth year biochemistry student at the University of Aberdeen, and will be talking today about a topic that I particularly find exciting, and I'm quite passionate about this, and I'm going to talk today about the world of biomolecules in a computer screen. So the talk consists of, I'll start talking about the molecular representations throughout the time. I'll talk about physical models, artwork, and computer models. I'll talk how this molecular visualization has revolutionized biochemical science, in an essence, how it helped to investigate fundamental aspects of biomolecules, how it led to improvement of different medications, and how visualization is one of the key components of new specialized research disciplines that are now tackling different biomedical problems. Sorry. So to start off, if we want to talk about molecular visualization in the context of biomolecules, we have to start our story with the tale of myoglobin, which was the structure of it was elucidated in 1958 by two people who are John Kendrick and Max Perez, and of course their team. So they have solved solved the structure of sperm whale myoglobin using X-ray crystallography. So at that time, the structure, they built a small model, and the structure of the time looked like that. So it looked like kind of like consorted sausage. It wasn't really accurate. So as you can see from the model, you can see the general shape of the molecule, but you can't see actual atomistic detail of the protein. So what they've done, after several years, they carried out additional work. They got new methods, so they managed to get an even more accurate model of the myoglobin. And what they have done, this is one of the earliest physical model representations that you can see. This exhibition is present in Science Museum in London. So it's a platform with plenty of metal rods. Atoms are being placed on the metal rods, and these atoms are being connected with just metal strings. So technically, you have like more than definitely several hundred rods, and all the structure of the myoglobin is just present over there. However, as you can see, it's really cumbersome to understand. It's hard to move. If you want to travel with it, no. So one of the ideas what they wanted to do is John Kendrick collaborated with a prominent artist of that time. He can be considered one of the greatest scientific artists of 20th century. His name is Darren Dice. He has been drawing for all different kind of disciplines, from astronomy to biology. And what he has been doing a 6-month collaboration with John Kendrick, working closely on visualizing the myoglobin. Now what you can see from this is just a draft image, which it took him like several months to draw. But the work has been carrying on, and he created like one of his masterpieces that is being celebrated by the crystallographers all over the world. And you can see this in Howard Hughes Medical Institute in America. So this was an exciting area for molecular visualization, because it allowed now actually to see what is this, what is protein, what is the structure, how the structure directs the function. And here you can see the heme group, which is responsible for the oxygen transfer in the blood, and this was just like a good start. However, to grasp completely the structure of the protein, the morphology of it, you still have to get the 3D image of it. You have to understand the depth of the protein. So you can't really rotate it, because it's just a drawing. So what they have been taking inspiration from, at that time computers were arising, like they were being developed. It was an exciting area, and one person whose name was Cyrus Leventhal, he can be considered as a father of computer visualization in protein science. And what he has done, he created a modeling software, and he used the computer to visualize the data that he got from John Kendrick on the monochrome oscilloscope, as you can see on the left-hand side. So this is the whole big computer as in the 60s. And you could have this small trackball, which you could rotate the molecule on this small screen. So this gave you an actually really already a good visualization. You could start feeling, understand how it might look like in the space. So how it actually looks like. So to give you a flavor of how it looked like, he created a movie called Proteins. There are several scenes in that, but I just selected only a scene which is called the Myoglobin. So you will see a protein structure, which has been filmed, taken into the film as on in the 60s. So you can see. So this you could start to rotate in the 1960s, 1966 particularly. You could start seeing how the protein structures look like, and you could start already like focusing on only one part of the protein. In this case, is a heme group, and start analyzing how it looks like, what are the geometries, how the ligand is positioned, what's important for oxygen transfer. So just answering fundamental questions about life and how mammals work in general, because this myoglobin structure was sold from the sperm whale. So it shows it was an exciting area. It started to we can't see a picture. Oh. Okay, so never mind. It started to shift from understanding of the 2D world, that you have bonds, you have connectivity. So it's just really simple 2D images. On this side, this should have been like I'll show you later on the several pictures, but there was an fundamental change in understanding and the perception of biochemistry, which led to go into the understanding of the surfaces and interactions, because you had to understand how the ligand is positioned, what's the distances, and all the 3D spatial requirements for the protein function. This time, it was an important innovation has been carried out. Of course, he wasn't the first, Roger Sauce, to create a visualization program, but he was the first to release as an open source, freely available software that has been downloaded by universities, hospitals, schools, research enterprises, businesses, and they started using this software to visualize the molecules they started to visualize the data that has been deposited into the specific internet websites. And you could render the molecule the way you want. You can select the part of the molecule, so it would go into the homes of each individual, and the biochemistry was changing, and it was getting a more rapid response. So one of the ways what Rasmol does is that it takes the coordinate files from the crystallography X-ray data, and one of the places you can get from this database, which is called Protein Data Bank, has been created in 1970s in the collaboration in America. And what it does, it just stores all the information, all the protein information possible. So you can, if you go now, take a look, there will be more than 100,000 molecules. And what it does, it just technically stores the information in just simple text format that you can download it and upload on your computer. And as you can see here, each atom is specified to which amino acid it is subjected with. So in this case, it's valine, and each atom has its own Cartesian coordinates. So the software takes all these coordinates for all the thousands and thousands of atoms and just plots on your computer. And you can start moving it, zooming it out, rendering, changing colors, creating different structures and to your likings. So this gives you a power to do some fundamental research in biochemistry. So I'll give you an example on the insulin. So insulin is consists, as you might know, insulin regulates the glucose homeostasis in the blood, and it requires, it can lower the blood concentration. It will lower the blood concentration from the sugar concentration in the blood. So from the structure of insulin, when it was solved using crystallographic methods, insulin in pancreas is formed, and in an active insulin, the pancreas is formed as a 6-membered unit. So you have 1-membered unit, 6-membered unit. So they collapse onto each other. There being the interactions between them, and the metal ion that is present over here in the pink holds all the 6-membered unit in one place. And the active insulin is only as a 1-membered. So there's a problem with just injecting simple insulin like that, because it will be fast acting. You will have to use insulin 3-4 times a day after food, but so you don't want that. Patients don't want that to have diabetes. So one of the ideas is to make it a long-acting insulin, so you inject only once subcutaneously, and then hopefully it will be releasing in short bursts in small amounts, and it will have a different effect. So what you can do, so people were looking at the structure of the 6-membered unit, and they thought, oh, let's add a greasy hydrocarbon chain. So what greasy hydrocarbon chain is, just works technically as a molecular glue between two, could possibly work as a glue between two 6-membered units. And they thought of that, let's try it. They synthesized the insulin, they solved the crystal structure for it, and what you can see now is that the molecular glue is placed between the two 6-membered units, and this provided a long-lasting effect. Now this drug called the Gludec has been approved by FDA last year, and is being used as a long-lasting insulin injection using subcutaneously. So my point to emphasize here that the structural information that you can make improvements on current treatments for diseases. And it's not only insulin. It's not only this case. There are many ideas where people use molecular visualization, and you can call this just like, in my just opinion, maybe it's not, but in my opinion, it just was like a revolution of biochemistry, because visualization is being used as one of the key components in protein folding analysis, in protein design analysis, in drug design analysis, molecular dynamics, and these areas are really important in so many biomedical research areas where you have to design a more industrially stable protein, which is used as a detergent, or you want to study protein folding because it's important in an Alzheimer's disease prevalence, how the proteins are being folded and how it affects the progression of the disease. So the molecular modeling, visualization, and fundamental understanding of the biochemistry is being allowed using the molecular visualization. So to give you just a perspective on the talk, that on the left-hand side you see 1956 or 1961, and this is, you see 2 days ago or 3 days ago that I took the screenshot. And you can start see this is the same molecule. This is the same myoglobin. And you can see like the perspective of how everything has changed, of what's the understanding of the biochemistry has come to. And sometimes you can even how the biochemistry moves fast enough. I have the same molecule on my phone, and I can analyze the structure, and you can go with it even like to any degree that you want. So hopefully I showed you what I think is the wonderful place, the wonderful world of biochemistry and the biomolecules, and what can you do on the computer screen over there. Thank you.